Hello ladies and gentlemen, Legend Commentaries here, bringing you today a commentary with Jayce in a 5v5 on Summoner's Rift. First off, we have his passive, Hex Tech Capacitor, where every time that you switch stances, you gain movement speed and ignore unit collision while it's cast. For his Q, we have either To the Skies or Shock Blast. With his hammer, To the Skies jumps to a target and slows them, and in cannon stance, then you'll fire an orb and it will do damage at range. For his W, you have either Lightning Field with your hammer, which is an AoE effect, and for your cannon, you have Hypercharge, which will fire 3 rapid shots, and it'll do a percentage of your attack damage. For your E, you have either Thundering Blow or Acceleration Gate. Thundering Blow knocks enemies back with your hammer and deals a percentage of their maximum health, whereas Acceleration Gate with your cannon will increase movement speed and projectile speed of your Shock Blast. Finally, you have your ultimate, which you actually receive at level 1 and can level up at 6, 11, and 16. It either transforms you into the Mercury Hammer or Mercury Cannon weapon with some new abilities and different range, and the first attack with your Mercury Cannon will decrease armor and magic resist, whereas the first attack when you switch into your hammer will deal some bonus damage. For my runes, I went for a very defensive setup as a Bruiser runebook. If you were doing this in ranked, you definitely want to have, a magic resist, an armor, and an attack damage book set up just so that you can kind of have that versatility with whatever different top lane you get to go against. I went against a Mordekaiser. Armor runes, not necessarily the best, but it worked out okay because of the amount of attack damage that their team had going on to me, as well as to kind of freeze the minion lanes, which helps to explain why for my masteries I went for a 9-20-1-0 setup. The 9 in offense, just getting that standard armor pen, and then going into defense to pick up some durability, some armor, and then also to get that minion reduced damage. And what that's going to do is allow me to freeze the lane and to engage my top lane opponent on their minions and be able to tank those for a little bit longer period of time. So all definitely working towards being a bruiser, being able to harass, and being able to ultimately dominate your lane top. So going ahead and stepping right into the gameplay here, we have the new format with the spectator mode. I hope you guys enjoy that. It's going to be a little bit more informative as far as where I can show enemy positions and whatnot, but you're going to see a very early gank going on here. So you got 3 minutes and 30 seconds trying to get the first blood for that extra 400 gold, and we're going to go ahead and engage on Mordekaiser. He was pushed up quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and force him to flash. Now I do have my E. I do have that knockback for maximum damage, but you don't want to use it when you're chasing because it's just going to knock him out of range. So instead, we kind of just chase him. I auto attack, pop into my Mercury Cannon, put down an acceleration gate, and use my Shock Blast. So what that's going to do is increase the damage. You never want to use your Shock Blast by itself because that's not going to do as much damage as with your acceleration gate, dealing about 40% more damage. So you definitely want to be using that every single time it's up and being able to harass with that as much as possible. Now here we see again another gank, using that acceleration gate to kind of kite Mordekaiser around. I run through it for the movement speed, turn back around and pop my Shock Blast through it to do some damage to him, further harassing him, getting him down, and then picking up a kill. This kind of shows how Jayce can be a complete bruiser with this rune set, with the armor, not taking very much damage from turrets. I'm going to pop into my cannon, or into my hammer, jump to him, use my E, take down some health, and then ignite Swain, and that's going to do all the damage that I need to take him out. I then switch to cannon, pop out an acceleration gate to get away, turn around, and do some harass backwards behind me. So the whole strategy behind Jayce should always be positioning. You want to be in a position to use your Shock Blast through that acceleration gate. You also want to be in a position to, if a team fight happens like here, jump into your hammer and start using that E, because your E is going to do so much damage and can really displace people during team fights, knocking Swain out of range of healing from someone, or knocking someone else back into your team to get taken out. And then your W, I don't max that just because it doesn't do enough damage compared to your E, but definitely always max your Shock Blast. That is going to be really, really beneficial to your team. Just with the amount of harass. So here there's an enemy Jayce, and you'll see how much damage this does with the gate through that bush on the side of our turret. So he's going to pop down an acceleration gate, land that, and then that's enough damage. Now Jayce can just dive in. We did end up picking him up, but that dive with a flash, you can't really do much about it. And unfortunately I missed my KS there, but then we got an Ash Arrow. Now here what I want to do is I want to go straight forward with my cannon, Gonna swap into that. There we go. The cannon, the acceleration gate goes down, using a shock blast through it. Same combination every single time. The good thing about Jayce's W is when you're chasing, you can utilize that to have less time between attacks and walking, so you can stay closer to them than having to stop, attack, run, stop, attack, run. With that W, your attack speed is maximum, so you're not even going to hardly have any time between those auto attacks. Here's Shaco coming up, and Ashe getting taken out a bit. Once again, acceleration gate, shock blast. Use that every single time it's up. Now, that combination is going to be valuable throughout your entire time playing Jayce with that acceleration gate, shock blast, then jumping onto them with your Q, doing so much damage with that passive as well on your ultimate. So all this kind of stuff, they're getting away with 20 health at the end of that fight. But another thing that is really confusing when a champion first comes out is how you build them. And of course, I'm going for a more bruiser kind of spec, so I went straight for my Trinity Force, picking up a Phage and then a Sheen, then getting the Zeal, and then finally building that into a Trinity Force. For boots, go whatever you really want to. I would not go Lucidity or Sorcerer's Boots, Berserker's Greaves, no. Just either choose between Merc Treads or some Ninja Tabi boots, depending on what their team composition is made up of. Now, clearly here, they had a lot of CC with the Swain stun, the Brand stun, the Shaco slow, and the Fear with his boxes, so picking up Merc Treads was the choice for this game. If you had a Fed AD carry, you definitely want to go for a more defensive build with that Ninja Tabi. As far as the item after this, well, actually, I should go back. After you get your Boots 1, which is what you start with, go for 2 Doran's Blades to get a little bit of damage, a little bit of sustain, a little bit of lifesteal. Then build into your Trinity Force, and then start selling that off to get a Last Whisper. That's the next item I go for. It's fairly early in the game, but it really does help out quite a bit, and it's the item I've had the most success with. So get your Last Whisper, and then just start going defensive, if you need to. Now, if their team is completely getting rocked by you, and you're the main source of damage for your team, go for something like a Bloodthirster. Get that extra damage, that extra sustain with the lifesteal, because you can do it. And you don't necessarily have to go for something like a Guardian Angel, a Banshee's Veil, that kind of thing. And here, actually, being a little bit stupid there, and getting taken down, but that's alright. Set him up for a nice kind of ace here after we got that Shaco kill, so it worked out in advantage of our team. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much Jayce. You don't really have to, you just need to practice with him. There's no set build. You really have to adapt to the situation that your team is put in, adapt to your top lane, adapt to what the enemy team is playing you as. So whether they're playing you as the AD carry that they need to focus down, or a bruiser which they ignore, is going to depend on what build you go. So that's pretty much it for this game. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something about Jayce. I really like him. I've been playing him a ton in normals, and I'm probably going to take him into the ranked scene pretty soon. Hope you guys subscribe and check out the videos in the outro that are coming up right after I say love you guys, and goodbye.